This lesson introduces the core math concepts you'll absolutely need to master for the GED. We focus on numbers, operations, and how to solve problems involving whole numbers, decimals, fractions, and integers, the most tested basics that build the foundation for everything else in GED math. To do well on GED math, you need to know the basic types of numbers. These categories help you understand what kind of math applies to each situation. To begin with, whole numbers include 0, 1, 2, 3. In other words, all positive numbers without fractions or decimals. Next, integers expand that by adding negative whole numbers, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. Then, rational numbers are numbers you can write as a fraction or ratio, such as 1/2, 4, or -0.25. If a decimal ends or repeats, it's rational. On the other hand, irrational numbers can't be written as simple fractions. They never end and never repeat, like pi or square root of 2. Finally, real numbers include both rational and irrational numbers, basically everything that can go on a number line. GED tip: you may be asked to classify a number, estimate its value, or place it on a number line, so knowing these categories is key. To succeed on the GED math test, you need to master the 4 basic operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Let's break it down by number type. Whole numbers. Start by lining up the digits by place value. Remember to carry in addition and borrow in subtraction when necessary. Example: 458 plus 326 equals 784. Decimals. When working with decimals, line up the decimal points carefully before calculating. Be sure to keep the decimal in the correct position in your final answer. Example: 5.6 plus 3.47 equals 9.7. Fractions. For addition or subtraction, always make the denominators the same before combining the numerators. For multiplication, simply multiply the numerators together and the denominators together. For division, flip the second fraction, take the reciprocal, and then multiply. To solve math expressions correctly, you must follow the order of operations, often remembered by the acronym PEMDAS, parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division, from left to right, addition and subtraction, from left to right. Example: 6 plus 3 times, open parentheses, 4 minus 1, close parentheses, squared, equals 6 plus 3 times 3 squared, equals 6 plus 3 times 9 equals 6 plus 27 equals 33. GED tip: multi-step expressions like this are common on the test. Take your time, follow PEMDAS carefully, and don't skip steps. Understanding the basic properties of operations helps you simplify expressions, spot patterns, and check your work with confidence. Let's walk through the essential properties you should know. Commutative property. This tells us that changing the order of the numbers doesn't change the result. Example: a plus b equals b plus a. Associative property. This property shows that how you group numbers, with parentheses, doesn't affect the outcome. Example: a plus b plus c equals a plus b plus c. Distributive property. Use this when multiplying a number by a sum or difference inside parentheses. Example: a b plus c equals a b plus ac. Identity property. Adding 0 or multiplying by 1 keeps the number the same. Example: a plus 0 equals a times 1 equals a. Zero property. Multiplying any number by 0 always equals 0. Example: a times 0 equals 0. GED tip: some questions require you to identify which property is being used. Working with positive and negative numbers, also called integers, is a key skill on the GED. These numbers follow specific rules for each operation, so let's go over them step by step. When adding integers, first, determine whether the signs are the same or different. If the signs are the same, add the numbers and keep the sign. If the signs are different, subtract the smaller number from the bigger one and keep the sign of the number with the larger absolute value. When subtracting integers, use the method called Keep Change Change, KCC. Keep the first number, change the subtraction sign to addition, change the sign of the second number. Example, 4 minus -5 becomes 4 plus 5, which equals 9. When multiplying or dividing integers, if both numbers have the same sign, the result is positive. Example, -3 times -4 equals positive 12. If the numbers have different signs, the result is negative. Example, -15 divided by positive 3 equals -5. GED tip. Signed number questions appear often on the test, and many must be done without a calculator. Practice following these rules carefully so you don't make sign errors. Some GED questions ask for approximate answers. Estimation helps you solve faster and check your work. Key ideas: round numbers based on place value. Estimating saves time and helps check for errors. Examples: 3.87 rounded to the nearest tenth is 3.9. 49.6 rounded to the nearest whole number is 50. GED tip: choose the answer that makes sense if options are close together. Real-life math problems are a big part of the GED. You'll be tested on real-world problems involving total cost, change due, distance, rate times time, multiplying decimals, exploring taxes, interest, unit price comparison. GED tip: always underline the key numbers and ask, what operation is being asked? Before moving on, let's quickly review the key skills you just learned in this lesson. Know how to work with whole numbers, decimals, fractions, and integers. Understand the order of operations and key properties, commutative, associative, distributive, etc. Master the rules for positive and negative numbers. Use estimation and rounding to save time and avoid mistakes. Be ready to break down real-world word problems. They show up a lot on the GED.